Hey, good afternoon, everybody. Good morning, good afternoon, whatever. Welcome in September 29th, 2022. Of course, Hurricane Ian hit Florida last night. We got very, very lucky. It moved south at the last minute earlier yesterday and the night before. It ended up striking Fort Myers, Sanibel, Captiva Island. If you're familiar with that area, it is on the Gulf Coast, southwest Florida. It's about an hour and a half south of us. They're completely devastated. So if you know anybody in the reselling community, your friends, your family, anybody else, please think of them today. There's quite a few of our reseller friends who live down that way who are not doing so good. I'll try to update it as much as possible. Here in Tampa, very, very lucky. We got spared heavy winds and rain. Couple things, which I'm going to drive around the neighborhood on the golf cart in a minute and show you. But nothing major. We didn't even lose power for more than like a half a second. So right now I'm just moving the SUV out of the garage. I was able to get it parked in the garage there, and then I had my car, and then I had the golf cart in the corner because I moved some inventory around. So I'm gonna go ahead and pull everything back out because it's safe. Only thing we had here at my house, personally, we lost a palm frond off the tree. And then one of my fence caps, let me see if I can walk around here. One of my fence caps blew off, which I found it. Little cap, it's supposed to have that thing on it. That blew off, but I found it. It was laying over in my neighbor's yard. So put that back on and we'll be all set. I'm gonna show you a little bit around my neighborhood. A little bit of damage, some fences and trees and things, but nothing crazy, especially nothing like they're having in South Florida. But I have a message for you guys at the end of this video after we take a look around the neighborhood. One of my little flower thingies fell over, so nothing I can complain about.
Let's thank the sponsor of our channel in today's video, List Perfectly, the best and fastest cross-listing tool for resellers. They'll help you get your inventory in front of 12 platforms in just minutes, including eBay, Etsy, Poshmark, Shopify, Mercari, Facebook Marketplace, and many others. Thank List Perfectly for the time and effort they've put into bringing you this amazing tool. Save 30% on your first month or upgrading a month with List Perfectly using discount code ROCKSTARLP. I'll put it down in the description box. They do an amazing job. They have an amazing team, and we want to thank List Perfectly for being a sponsor of the Rockstarflipper YouTube channel.
All right, so my neighbor Spencer, I know that he lost his fence, part of it, so that's his vet right there. I know, it's a sexy vet. That's what happened to his fence. So the thing about his fence, though, he had it removed because he had a pole installed. So that fence was already vulnerable because once they move it out of its original place and put it back, it is not as stable as it could be. So that's what he lost there. But nothing big. He'll be able to buy a new panel, put that panel up, and then probably fix the gate thing. Probably going to cost him a couple $100, but could be much worse, of course. So let's continue on through the neighborhood. Spencer, we like your vet. I'm sure a lot of people will. So this was a huge concern when it was going to come right at us, and would have been. The construction companies building houses just left all this. These could have became like flying projectiles, literally. Anything in those dumpsters, these dumpsters could have floated. There could have been a lot of issues. They were supposed to remove these before the storm hit. They did not, and shame on them for that. One tree down, little tree. Took a beating last night, got pulled down. So, another one got ripped down. So you can see we got very, very minor damage. We had about 50, 60, 70 mile an hour wind gust. And so it was successful in ripping down quite a few trees, actually. That one almost came down. But in the grand scheme of things, these are tiny little trees. They can't do any damage to anything anyways. Yeah, so we're all good here, it looks like. This is around the back side of my circle. Looks like everybody made it out with no issues. I know they laid that basketball hoop down. That's one of my good neighbors. They laid that down last night. And another tree. You can see it just kind of pulls them out of the ground. It's interesting to see how the hurricane actually works, how it does damage. But yep, that's about it from north of Tampa. That's all we got. So here's an interesting thing too. I'll put the screenshot up on the video as I show you guys this. This is a palm tree that was just installed. These people bought this house. This was my old neighbor. He sold this and about a month, maybe 2 months ago. And they just put that palm tree up last month. That's the bigger one I was talking to you guys about in my social media videos. So that's the ones you see in front of my house is Christmas palms. Those are the bigger ones. They're called foxtails, if I remember correctly. But anyways, my old business friend and partner, still good friends with him, lives about 40 minutes south of here, and he has that exact tree, and it got snapped in half. I'll put the picture up. You're probably seeing it right now. So the difference in the wind between here and just 30 or 40 minutes can completely wreck something like that. That's $1,000, $1,200 palm tree. So, and once it's snapped, it's done. You can see they put that wood there to support it, but this one lived because of where we are, just location. My friend had the same wood on his down south, and it's still snapped. So he's out $1,000 for the palm tree. But with that said, again, we're very, very lucky. And last thing I'll show you guys before I come around to my house, this could have been a huge issue too. That's the model house, pretty much the same house we bought. And this is the parking lot where the model parking lot was. And they built this house because they have room for it, right? And they left all the construction stuff there too. And I'll show you just how close it is. Obviously, it was, really close to some of these houses. But my house is right there, where the black SUV and obviously my car are parked. And it could have become projectiles. Definitely could have been something really bad. Now, my car was clearly inside, but still could have been a projectile into a window, into the house, into anything. So, yeah, very irresponsible by the builder. So let me jump off the golf cart and give you guys my little message for the day. All right, so I think a big question I'm going to get is how did the lagoon hold up during a hurricane? We're still getting a lot of wind gusts, these leftover wind gusts. So let me point a few things out to you guys. So that is the inflatable kid slide right there. Obviously it was deflated and they have stakes in it. So I'm guessing that held up pretty good. That is the giant adult slide. Same thing, deflated and the stakes in it. Now if you look out there behind the palm trees, that is the obstacle course, the blow up Wibbit. It's called a Wibbit, W-I-B-I-T, obstacle course. And it looks like it got pounded pretty good. Let me flip around and show you guys. All right, so that's the little inflatables. They got blown over pretty good. Now, what is the thing with these? They have weights on them that weight them down when they're out in the middle of the water. Normally, they're weighted down, so they're not gonna blow away, but you can see they got tossed about a little bit. And then you can see there, the trash cans got blown over. They may have sat those actually over on their side on purpose, but the chairs, they definitely got flung around pretty good. And then out there on the island, those chairs were strapped to the tree, so they did pretty well. A couple random chairs there. And then that right there is cabanas that you can rent. They were tied up, so they did pretty good. Looks like for the most part, everything held up fairly well. We'll go over and check the bar area in a second. I'll move my car and we'll see just how well it held up compared to the rest. So let's go over there and check that out. All right, so I came to the back side of the lagoon. I'm gonna flip around and show you guys. So those are gonna be townhomes around the front of the lagoon. But anyway, so from this section, you can see they drained the water a little bit to give it some room to fill up, which it did. The fence took a little bit of a beating. Here, they put the dumpsters in there. They did okay. And then you can see those are a row of cabanas back there, and they held up pretty well. So the lagoon did pretty well. I give it a B+, A-. The main gate here for employees did well. Like I said, a little bit of the fence took a little bit of a beating. We'll have to fix that up and it won't be too bad. We have some bumper boats right there that did well. And if you look, that's a little jet boat that they use to clean the lagoon with and pick up stuff. Everything looks like it held up pretty well back here. So can't complain about the way the lagoon handled that. But like I said, we got very lucky. If it had gone here instead of an hour and a half down south, this would be a whole nother story. This would probably be washed out and flooded. All that stuff would probably be gone and it would be big, big trouble. All right, so my message for you guys today is that many, many, many of you are in absolutely perfect conditions to work, to make money, to get things done. And there are a lot of people on a regular, everyday basis who are in a worse position than you. Maybe they don't have a lot of money. Maybe they don't have a lot of support. Maybe they don't have good thrift stores. Maybe they don't have a lot of free time. They have kids, they have families. There's people with worse conditions and situations than many of you. And now there are people who don't have houses, who are flooded, who may not be home for months or a year, who have complete destruction, devastation. And this happens in hurricanes and tornadoes across the country in Oklahoma and earthquakes in California. There are people who don't even live in this country, who live in other countries that are not as lucky as us to have what we have if you're watching me from the United States. And I get messages and emails from those people in other countries who have it very difficult to sell, to make money, to run a business, to have freedoms like we have. So be thankful for what you have and take advantage of it. Work hard, get as much done as you possibly can, and maximize every minute and every dollar and opportunity that you have. So yeah, with that said, I'll leave you guys to it. Hit the like button, subscribe, and I'll see everyone next time.